What is up guys, it's your boy here, and today I'm back at it with another video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to date as a Christian man. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So the first point is to keep God at the center of your relationships. Okay, so just because you started seeing someone new, just because it's an exciting new relationship and you want to spend time with them, doesn't mean that you forget God. Remember, if anything, He's the one that put that person in your life. Okay, so you should be thankful for Him, and you guys, if you're both Christians, which you should be, and I'll talk about that in a bit, is that you should both worship Him together. In Mark 10:9 it says, "Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." Just because you have started seeing someone new doesn't mean you stop praying, doesn't mean you stop going to church, doesn't mean any of those things. That person should help you to stay connected with God, and they should also stay connected to God themselves. But also it says let no one separate. So that means if God has put you two together, then you guys will be staying together through thick and thin, no matter what jealousy might come across from external people, no matter what rumors or gossip people put in between you two to try to separate you two. It could be a guy friend who tells her that you've been cheating, or it could be a girl friend of yours who is trying to flirt with you to try to steal you from your woman. If God has put you two together, then you guys will be able to bear everything. But it also means that you two have to work together to be able to block out these people who are trying to separate you. Okay, if you just hope and wish that God's going to keep you together just because, and you're not going to do anything about these toxic people that might try to separate you guys, then it won't work. Okay, you have to also trust God, but you also have to be able to discern who is good, who is jealous, who is trying to separate you, who is making up rumors and gossiping about you guys. So 1, keep yourselves in check. 2 is to stay connected to God, both together and individually. And then 3 is also to not let toxic people to come in between you guys. So that one from Mark 10:9 is very powerful, because it says what God has joined together, let no one separate. So don't let other people come in, but you also have to remember to stay connected to God, okay, individually and together. And if you're picking the right person, if it's coming from God, okay, if God's putting the right person into your life, then that person won't take you away from God. If anything, that girl is going to bring you closer to God. So point number 2 is to know what you want and need in a partner. Now God's gonna help you with this, okay, because God knows you already, so He's not gonna put someone in your life that you don't need or that's not gonna be good for you. If anything, He might put someone in there to teach you something, okay, but usually God's gonna put you with the woman that you need to be. If you're getting into relationships that aren't good, it's either from the enemy or from your own flesh, okay? So either you yourself are just picking and choosing whoever, or the enemy is putting people in your life to grip you, but into the bad ways, take you down the wrong paths, lead you away from God, lead you away from church, lead you away from your prayers and your Bible. Okay, so if anything is bad and negative and against God's word, then you can be rest assured it's coming from the enemy. But if it's good, if it's holy, if it's someone who's also Christian, someone who's also trying to stay close to God, someone who's going to push you to be better Christian and to help other people and to be closer to God, then they're coming from the right place. So in 2 Corinthians 6:14 it says, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?" So it's a very powerful one as well. all these ones about relationships are very powerful, because relationships can really destroy you and take you away from God and lead you to hell, basically, because you're not going to be believing in Christ. So it's saying here, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. Okay, and it's saying, what's good and bad got in common with each other? What does light and darkness have to do with each other? Okay, they're complete opposites. So don't go with someone who's not in your faith. Okay, do not be unequally yoked, or do not be yoked with unbelievers. Okay, do not be unequally yoked is another part of scripture, but do not be yoked with unbelievers. So don't be together with someone who is not on the same page as you, basically. Very important. And then in Romans 12:9 and 10, it says, love must be sincere, hate what is evil, cling to what is good, be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves. So this is powerful as well, and it's saying to be sincere, be honest with yourself, okay? With yourself, with your partner. But remember, point 2 is to know what you want in a partner. So be honest, okay, with yourself. What do you need in a partner? And it says, hate what is evil. So someone who's going to be leading you to drink and drugs and fornicating and doing bad things, that's evil. You as a Christian man should not want a partner who's going to be taking you down that path. And then it says, be devoted to one another in love. So devote yourselves to another. Give all of yourself to the other person and them to you. Because if you're not both giving yourselves to each other and you're just selfish, then it's gonna ruin the relationship. And it says, honor one another above yourselves, which is crucial, because if you put the other person above you and they do the same for you, then it's very good connection between you two. Now if you're putting yourself above them and they're putting themselves above you, and it keeps going up and up and up, okay, I'm above you, no, I'm above you, no, I'm above you, it's very selfish and you're never going to connect. If you put them above you, okay, and they put you above them, and you can help each other grow. See the difference? It's very important to honor the other person, love the other person, and dedicate yourself to the other person. But it's equally important that they do it for you, so that you can help each other to grow, rather than either one just put the other one on the pedestal, or one be super selfish and the other one be super giving, because then it's all give on one side and take on the other side. It should be give on both sides. The third tip is pursue purity. Now, it's very difficult nowadays with the way the world is, with, you know, porn, with sex on TV and films, and everything is all about extremes. Extreme pleasure, extreme amounts of money, drugs taking you to extreme levels of happiness momentarily. Same with alcohol. It's very difficult to stay pure and pursue purity, because it's boring at the end of the day. It's not an extreme, it's not a wow thing, it's like a standard whatever, boring. Okay, so it is very difficult, and a lot of people are having sex outside of marriage and they're not necessarily doing what's right in God's eyes. However, he does forgive us, but if you're truly Christian, then you're going to want to do his will, his way, the best that you possibly can. So if you're, you know, trying to be a true Christian, you're trying to be a man or woman of God, this is mainly for men, this channel, so I'm talking to men mostly. If you're trying to be a man of God, then it's very difficult, especially with so much access to sex and corn and whatever, to not fall into that temptation, but you have to try your best. In Ephesians 5:3 it says, but among of you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality, or of any kind of impurity, or of greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. So it is hard to not even have a hint of it, okay, especially when it's just all over the place in today's world. So it's a battle that you have to try to guide yourself. It's like a minefield. If you imagine a minefield, you don't know where the mines are and you're treading, you know, you're trying not to trigger off any mines and explode them and die. So it's like that. You have to try to duck and weave and dodge all of them. And unfortunately, many people fall into the trap where they get hit by a landmine, and then after that they kind of go for one and another and another, and it's like taking drugs, right? You just get addicted to it. So because being pure is boring, people tend to not want to live that way. But you have to try your best if you're truly trying to be Christian, and the person that you're going to be with also has to want that, because if they're going to not be the same as you, they're just going to end up tripping you up. 1 Corinthians 6:18, it says, flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Okay, so it says flee from sexual immorality, so run away from it. Okay, do your best to dodge it. And it says all the other sins are outside your body. Okay, so if you steal, if you swear, if you overindulge in alcohol and drugs, I mean, that's partly within your body, but it's also external for the most part. It's all about things you're doing outside that's not affecting your own integrity of your body. But with sexual immorality, you're literally giving your life force away to someone. So if you're doing it in an impure, immoral way, you're essentially kind of giving yourself to different people, piece by piece by piece, with no real commitment. And it's quite sad actually when you think about it, but a lot of people don't think about it this way. They think of what they're getting momentarily, which is the sexual pleasure. But if you're thinking of it from the other side, you're getting sexual pleasure, but you're giving yourself away. You're giving your life force away, your energy, your connection, your emotional connection, all of it. Okay, so make sure you get that commitment first, so you're not committing immorality. Like I said, it's very hard nowadays because it's promoted. Even it's not even that it's accessible. It's just purely promoted. Everywhere we see nudity, sex, all of it. TV, radio, wherever, internet, it's everywhere. So it is hard to dodge it, but you have to try your best to get away from the things that are wrong and lead yourself towards the things that are right. And in Hebrews 13:4 it says, marriage should be honoured by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. So God is a just judge, okay? If you were to commit a crime and you were to go to court, and the judge was a just judge, so he was honest and all about justice in the correct manner, and you stole something, but you said, oh, I didn't mean to, or I'm sorry, or whatever, then a just judge will say, but you didn't mean to, or you're sorry now, but you've still done it, so you have to pay the price, okay? You have to go to jail for X time or pay a fine or whatever. So it's saying here that God is going to judge, okay? And he's going to judge the adulterers, the cheaters, okay? And the sexually immoral people who are having sex outside of marriage and with whoever, casual flings, relationships, one night stands, all of it. And it says the marriage should be honoured by all, okay? So not just the men, not just the women, but by all. And the marriage bed kept pure. So only for you two as a married couple to share that experience together, really. okay? Because it is giving yourself to each other, okay? It's not just getting pleasure. That's momentarily, but you're giving yourself to the other person. So make sure that you're committed to that person, yeah? Make sure it's a full commitment. That's why there's such a big pressure from the church to only be sexually involved after marriage rather than before, because when you're not married, you're not fully committed to each other. So in that way, you can just quickly break up and whatever. Whereas with a marriage, it's a more difficult process to break up. One that's very hard and very draining. So you have to think twice before just saying, oh, I want a divorce. It's not like, okay, we're over now. It's not just a quick, done, clean cut. It's very difficult tear, ripping apart that's going on there in a divorce. So that's why there's such a big emphasis on marriage before being sexually involved. Point number 4 is to build a strong friendship first. So when you're trying to meet someone and you guys are thinking about getting involved together and you're dating and you're courting, you have to also make sure that you can be good friends, that you're supportive, that you're there for each other, that you listen to each other, that you communicate well, that you give the right advice to each other. All of these things that you would do to your best buddy, okay, you also have to be doing and receiving from the correct partner, the correct person that you're going to choose to marry, right? So if you two can't be friends, if you don't have that level of relationship first before being involved romantically, then it's not going to work as a marriage, okay? It's just going to be it's a lustful, sexual type of relationship, okay? It's just a surface level pleasure kind of relationship. You guys have to be able to be best friends first so that you can then have that as well, okay? Because if you haven't got the core foundation part of the relationship, being there for one another, you know, supporting each other, communicating well, listening well, and it's not saying that it's always going to be perfect and you're going to express your feelings and the other person's going to be like, yep, completely understand, completely agree, 100%, yep. It's not that. It's you're able to discuss your own opinions, your disagreements to one another, your points of view to one another. And sometimes there's going to be arguments, sometimes it's going to be heated, sometimes it's going to be difficult, but you can also then forgive each other, come back to each other, say sorry, and sometimes you just have to agree to disagree on certain things, okay? As long as it's only trivial things and not key factors in your lives, like whether you want kids or not, or whether you want to be married or not, or whether you want to save and be good financially or not, okay? As long as it's not these key aspects, key values in your life, as long as it's only trivial things that you agree to disagree, then it's fine. But you also have to be able to forgive each other and see each other's point of view and communicate and listen as well, okay? So in 1 Peter 4:8 it says, above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. So just because you're married doesn't mean you're never going to do something that hurts the other person. It doesn't mean you're never going to be a little bit selfish. It doesn't mean you're never going to say something nasty. You know, just because you're married doesn't mean all these things go away. Sometimes it even comes stronger and more because the enemy is trying to separate you two, okay? Especially if you're married, the devil is coming to try to break up that marriage. He's trying to destroy whatever God creates, okay? So when you two are married, it means, the quote from 1 Peter, it's saying because love covers over a multitude of sins. So when you are married, you are still going to do things that are going to be considered a sin to each other. You might have a disagreement, you might call each other nasty names, you might have a heated dispute, whatever. But it says that love covers all sins, so it means that you can still forgive each other, you can still get back on track. Doesn't mean it's gonna hurt, it's not gonna hurt, or it doesn't mean that it's not gonna happen, or that it's just gonna go away overnight, but it means that over time and with enough love, you guys can forgive each other, get back to a good place together. You guys can rekindle and connect again. You know what I mean? That's what it means with this quote, and I love it so much. And Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." So by being friends together in the marriage, it says a friend loves at all times. So even when you're disagreeing, even when things are getting heated, even when you guys might call each other names or shout at each other or just not agree and not listen, have different points of view, you are still going to love at all times. Now, in the moment, it's not very loving, okay, when you're shouting and if you call each other names or whatever. But when things cool down, you can still love each other, okay? You can still come back to each other and talk and apologize and forgive and discuss, okay? Like I said, marriage isn't going to be perfect. No one's saying that by being married it's going to be a bed of roses, okay? It's not going to be perfect, but you guys will love each other through it, through the hard times. And it says, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. So it's literally saying there will be times of adversity, there will be difficulties, there will be hard times, and by being true friends, a brother is born. Or in this case, your wife is your sister is born, right? So that's why it's very important to have a friendship level in the marriage, okay? Not just the romantic side of things. So the fifth point is to focus on character over appearance. So what I mean with this is attraction is normal. It's natural, okay guys? It's natural for us guys to look at a woman and go, wow, and be attracted and emotionally already be thinking of that person in a romantic way, and I'd take her out to this restaurant, or I'd do this, or we should do that, or just because you see her as a beautiful person, you're like, she's gonna be an amazing wife, da 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 da. Okay, us guys, it's very natural to go quickly like that from 0 to 100 just by looking at a beautiful woman and being attracted to her. Okay, so what I'm gonna say in here is, in this point, is focus on character first. So attraction's natural, and it's perfectly humanly natural to just straight away fall in love, so to speak, with your eyes, okay, through her looks and her beauty. But once you get talking to that person, look at their character, look at their mannerisms, look at the way they talk, the way they act, the things they say, their morals, their values. All of these things are their character, and you have to prioritize that over the looks and beauty, because we get blinded with looks and beauty. Just because someone is beautiful, we automatically think that they're a good person, which isn't always true. Okay, so once you get that attraction, open your eyes when you're talking to the person to see their character and their personality more than just their looks. Try not to be blinded by their looks. So it says in Proverbs 31:10, a wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. So remember, a wife of noble character, not a beautiful wife, not a wife with great looks, not a wife with beautiful hair, not a wife with beautiful face or pretty face, or anything like that looks wise. It's all about noble character. She is worth more than rubies. Rubies are very valuable. Why? Because they're rare. So a wife of noble character is so rare that she's worth more than rubies. And that's what you have to look at. You have to look at her character, you have to look at her mannerisms, the way she talks to you, the way she respects you or doesn't respect you. Because if she doesn't, not a good character. Move on, okay? If she does respect you, then you have to hold on to her. She's a keeper. So in Galatians 5:22 to 23 it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." So the fruit of the Spirit. With the fruit of the Spirit, it's literally saying a godly woman is all of those things, okay? A wife is all of those things. A husband is all of those things. So someone who is good for you, who is full of the Spirit, who is a godly person, man or wife, is all of those things, okay? Doesn't mean they're going to be perfect all the time. Doesn't mean that they are like that all the time and happy and jolly, and even when things go wrong they don't get upset and they just forget everything. No. People are going to have ups and downs. People are going to be happy, people are going to be sad, people are going to be angry, people are going to be joyful, people are going to be kind, people are going to be selfish, okay? But for the majority of the time, that person is which one? Good or bad, okay? If they're good most of the time, then they're most likely going to be a good person for you. If they're bad most of the time, then most likely they're not going to be a good person for you. So it's all about discerning the person. How are they the majority of the time? Are they a good person, bad person most of the time? Which way do they act? Then you can tell if they are going to be a good person or not. But don't get blinded by their looks and their beauty and their charm, okay? Make sure that you see the root of it, the character, the deep, deep inside true way that the person is. Not just with you, but with other people. Because they might be acting and putting on a mask one way with you, especially in the beginning, to try to charm you and show that they're a good person, a fake version of who they are. But with other people they might be rude, they might be selfish, they might look down on other people, okay? So look at how they treat other people when they're with you, especially in the beginning, and then you can kind of see what kind of person they are. Okay guys? Hope you enjoyed that video, hope it was helpful. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.